Glad to have you join us on this edition of the show. What has become of the blockchain ecosystem since the Central Bank of Nigeria decided to restrict financial activities related to crypto assets? My guest today is a stakeholder who has a lot to share, plus he brings some legal perspective to the conversation. We have got more lined up for you, but first, some news and updates. I am Chukwemeka Agbata. Welcome to Tech Trends.
Blockchain is an innovative technology with the power to change society and is gaining the world's attention as a technology to enhance the competitiveness of the urban economy.
Recently, there's been a lot of buzz about cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, Bitcoin, and the like. But how often do we hear about NFTs? NFTs, also known as non-fungible tokens, are unique assets that can be represented by any digital asset on the Ethereum blockchain. Now here's an example. In the case of a fungible asset, you can exchange 1,000 Naira for two 500 Naira notes. Both have the same value. But when something is non-fungible, it means it has unique properties and can't be interchanged with something else, like a painting or a house with no tangible form. Efosa Hodaro, founder of Hashgreed, is making it easier to access NFTs as he says he's on a mission to make blockchain technology useful for the everyday individual through his multi-purpose NFT auction platform, the first to be seen in Africa.
Hashgreed is a platform for artists, content creators, influencers to sell just a barcode of their artwork, of their goods, and of their personality. So we can have celebrities selling NFT of their contact. So it's a way for you to contact celebrities. When you have that barcode on the blockchain, you have that proof that you and this celebrity actually had a conversation, or you actually bought this specific artwork from this artist. For example, we have several people selling artworks on the road, right, on the express road, but we don't know if they are stolen, So when we participate in buying unverified artwork from the street, we are contributing to piracy, right? But if every artwork is going through the blockchain and is verified by the blockchain, there's strong authenticity and there's a proof, there's a record of transfer on the blockchain, then you can be sure that you are buying from the right owner. And also this artist, for the first time in history, you can actually earn royalties on artworks, So basically wanted to create this decentralized application that has all these little tools that helps people to actually see the benefit of blockchain.
With NFTs, one can create a digital certificate of ownership that can be bought and sold. It has been likened to buying an autographed print. Through the platform, one can find all tools vital for creating a proper NFT and store them in a decentralized file storage system.
It actually came on board in 2014 in the blockchain space, but in Nigeria today, we are leading in the communication and adoption of that new technology. So it's gradual. It's going to take a little bit of time, but as we begin to push the use cases for celebrity contact, for artists, and for institutions, companies can route their reward programs through the NFT. So that way their customers have a way to always renew and review the experience of using that product. But if you just have a reward through a gift card or through somewhere else, once the reward is done and over with, then that experience is over, right? We cannot compound on that experience for future engagement, right? So through the NFT, people are seeing the token on their wallet. They're like, okay, I use this for this reward, and then this NFT is not exhaustible.
Although NFTs have been around since 2014, but we are seeing an exponential rise in the past months, especially as they become a popular way to buy and sell digital artwork. Early in 2021, humanoid robot Sophia sold her digital artwork at an auction in the form of a non-fungible token for almost $700,000. NFTs have become the latest investment trend, creating a medium for artists to showcase and monetize their work.
It may look like little more than a metal box on wheels and is now only being used in a handful of places, but Chinese e-commerce giant JD.com says its self-driving delivery will soon be rolled out on a large scale across the country. It's something of a trend. JD.com's rivals, including Alibaba and Meituan, are also set to bring in more robots and self-driving vehicles earlier than expected as the COVID-19 pandemic fuels and sustains demand for contactless services. Company executives, encouraged also by falling costs of producing robots, say the firms expect to have more than 2,200 robots in operation between them by 2022.
In August of 2020, we set up quite a large-scale system of internet order deliveries with these self-driving vehicles, so we can create a systematic change. That is, how do people and vehicles work together, and not just have a demonstration type area for vehicles. Rather, the idea is to put these vehicles to use and combine them with the whole industrial chain.
Millions of couriers still deliver goods or a meal for as cheap as 3 yuan in China, but companies have been exploring the use of drones or box-like robots on wheels from as early as 2013 amid rising labor costs and better technology. Leading Chinese delivery and ride-hailing companies have also been instructed by regulators to improve their treatment of workers who face heavy pressure and take big risks to meet tight deadlines. JD.com is now using just over 200 self-driving vehicles across several cities in China and plans to expand to close to 1,000 by the end of 2021 and then expand to a larger scale over the next few years. The company says it devised the software itself and worked with a partner company to design the vehicle. Kong said that the aim of this project is not to replace its 200,000 delivery workers with these self-driving vehicles, but rather to shift the focus of their work to better serving customers. During a company-organized recent visit to Yizhuang, an area of Beijing where some of the vehicles are in use, they carried out several real deliveries to customers several kilometers away. The vehicles were seen traveling at a modest speed, following the rules of the road and stopping when something came close to it, but not all customers were impressed.
I think that when it comes to making deliveries to offices, its level of efficiency is low. People are ordering a large amount of food and goods, but as you can see with this robot, its delivery capacity is quite small. I think they need to increase its efficiency. I hope this sort of technology can be used widely even sooner, because it will bring an added degree of convenience to our lives. And since we're in this pandemic, it will reduce person-to-person contact. It's safer.
In addition to being slower than human colleagues, the self-driving vehicles cannot climb stairs and are so far only allowed on certain routes like in housing estates and school campuses because of speed limits and road conditions. The robots and self-driving vehicles also tend to be used to deliver less time-sensitive products like packages rather than food. But proponents espouse long-term benefits of using robots such as low last-mile delivery costs, which experts say account for half of the total costs of shipping. As she walks down a Paris sidewalk, visually impaired French woman Laurence Jamet approaches a garbage can blocking her path. A beep sounds in her ears to warn her of the obstacle. She takes a step to the right to dodge it and continues on her way. Jamet is using an electronic device developed by a French company that uses sensors to spot an obstacle in the path of a user and gives them the information they need to go around it. Blind since birth, Jamet has for years used the white stick to get around. It allows her to scan at ground level for obstacles, but it does not stop her colliding with objects sticking out above that, like for example, the open door of a truck.
If you hear the sound to the right, it means that the obstacle is on the right. If it is straight ahead, the obstacles are in front of you. So you change course according to what you hear.
The device, which mounts on the top of her cane and sends information to her via headphones, fills that gap.
Une canne blanche, c'est bien, mais quand on arrive sur les obstacles, souvent on se cogne dedans.
I get hit much less, and so I am less stressed.
Ça donne des coups.
According to Francois Birov, co-founder of GoSense, the firm that developed the device, the big challenge was to not overload the user with information.
We wanted to have a big technological challenge and try to make something useful for people. And we were both we both like very much music and sound, and we thought that visually impaired people were lacking a device that could help us in their daily life, and we thought that technology could do that.
The device is designed to work out the user's trajectory and only let them know about obstacles directly in their path. If the obstacle is ahead of them, but to the right, the alarm will sound in their right ear, letting them know they need to take a detour to the left. To date, the device is being used by nearly 400 people in France, with a handful of models in use in Switzerland, Germany, Belgium, and Italy.
Next is my chat with the legal advisor of Blockchain Nigeria User Group, Barino Kwe. Stay with us. Barino, glad to have you on Tech Trends today.
Thank you very much.
All right. You see me smiling because I'm not even sure where to begin, but what has happened in the crypto ecosystem, the cryptocurrency ecosystem since the CBN's restriction?
Yeah, a lot has actually happened since the restriction. You know, initially the announcement actually threw the ecosystem into a lot of panic. People were actually like they were wondering how they could continue with the cryptocurrency transaction in the midst of in the middle of no access to bank services. However, with time, people have actually devised a means. Of course, it has always been there. You know, it has always been there. The peer-to-peer way of transaction, peer-to-peer has always been there. Just that access to bank services, like direct access, like converting fiat to cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency to fiat, that gateway actually make trading in cryptocurrency very, very easy. However, peer-to-peer comes with its challenge. But I think most of those challenges have been surmounted. And as you can see, most people are not even complaining again. They are just concentrating on doing their trading because they've discovered peer-to-peer and it's working perfectly.
So the question now is, was that move restricting the ecosystem a smart one? Because right now, if people are still carrying on as business as usual and government has no clue, then who's losing?
Really, I think the government is losing. SEC was actually not, they weren't on the verge. They actually put together a regulatory framework. Like, it wasn't like perfect, but at least it was a statement. They made a statement on cryptocurrency. And I think they would have been able to license, levy, and tax crypto exchanges. People, different companies offering cryptocurrency services as exchanges. And we can't really have an indigenous exchange now functioning very well due to this restriction. And then we have a Nigerian with the whole volume making use of services of exchanges that are actually domiciled in other countries and are paying tax to those countries. So generally, Nigeria is losing as a country. I won't just say it's the government losing. I think as a whole, we are losing because despite the fact that we are actually benefiting from trading, despite the fact that we could have traders that are actually making profit, if also from using those services, taxes are being paid to the government, at least it will be used to apply to one infrastructure or the other, despite whatever the citizens might think about the government. At least when these things are applied, when whatever is recovered from taxation is applied to the country, it will be of benefits to everybody. Besides, the government have been going around, particularly CBN has been going around, trying to criminalize cryptocurrencies, but they fail to actually to provide actual statistics, backing their claims. If you say that cryptocurrency is being used for fraud, you should give an instance. You should compare it like with what has been applicable. Has cryptocurrency increased the rate of crime? Has it increased the level? These are the things they are supposed to look at, not necessarily making blanket statements alleging that the concept is being used to perpetrate crime. You should be able to stay specific. You should be able to show us record or instances where cryptocurrency has been used for crime or where it has aided, like in the increment of crime. There should be a statistic, there should be indices. So generally, Nigeria as a whole is losing. We are losing as well because we have to pay for escrow services. Not everyone understands the technical aspect of the blockchain. So they only use the services of those who understand it better, the tech guys who provide apps that makes it easy for the layman to use. And for you to use those apps, you are charged extra. For instance, there was this day I had to, I actually transacted in Bitcoin and it wasn't funny. At the end of the day, the transfer of the Bitcoin to another wallet cost me about 9,000 Naira in charges.
Barino, speaking about Bondo, for example, I used to know that their address used to read Lagos, but now their address reads Seychelles because of the whole thing that is happening. But, what would you have advised the government to have done rather, or the CBN to have done rather than an outright restriction?
I think, one thing I've noticed about regulators is they tend to look at industry players will I say they don't regard the industry players in Nigeria? they don't really regard the industry players, because before ever you take an action, you have to consult, you have to talk with these people that are into this particular ecosystem. If they've had a conversation with those in the honest conversation, explain actual facts, not necessarily making blanket statement. If they had made this, I believe that key industry players would have made viable contributions. They would have made viable contributions that would have guided them in regulation.
But let me ask you though. So CBN's response to, well, they claim it's not the response, but INAIRA is here. What is your take?
INAIRA, actually, there are a lot of reactions on the ecosystem concerning INAIRA. Some players are actually approaching the INAIRA with a lot of suspicion. You know, you wouldn't blame them, because CBN body language and actual actions has shown hostility right from the beginning. And up till now, they are still showing hostility. So definitely it is normal for industry player to follow whatever action CBN is taking with suspicion. You know, some of them are actually thinking that CBN has some mischief up their sleeve, and they are using the INAIRA as a facade to implement whatever will come after. However, for me, I think the INAIRA is a welcome development. One of the things INAIRA will do really help the ecosystem is cryptocurrency awareness, education, orientation, and whichever way you might put it.
That's a selfish benefit, I must say.
Yes, because it will actually increase the awareness. If, you know, it would have been difficult as just industry players pulling this thing together to reach as far as the CBN will reach through its campaign for INAIRA. It will actually be, the CBN will actually be advancing, like educating people on how to use cryptocurrencies.
So finally, if you can answer this in a very short time, I'll be happy. Can the ecosystem challenge some of the regulations in court, or when will the ecosystem be mature enough to challenge some regulation in the law courts?
Yeah, there are actually good grounds to challenge the system, especially the CBN restriction on access to financial services to ecosystem players. You know, it can actually be challenged in court. There are actual issues of fundamental rights infringement in that particular ban. There are fundamental rights infringement in it, and it can be challenged in a competent court of law.
All right, Barino, glad to have you on the show today, and thank you for being here with us. My guest has been Barino Kwe, legal advisor of Blockchain Nigeria User Group, who is of the opinion that the best way forward is constant dialogue, because at the end of the day, Nigeria is losing some sort of taxable income as the cryptocurrencies market cap crosses $2 trillion globally. Perhaps it is time for the CBN to rethink its decision so that SEC can come up with a comprehensive guideline on the way forward. Anyways, time will tell whether it was a smart decision after all. We've come to the end of the show, but it doesn't end here. The conversation continues online. Check out the show on Channels TV, YouTube, or cfablog.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.